In our budget process, we've known for years it's filled with a whole lot of gimmicks, techniques and methods that have developed over the years to hide the real cost of spending. We think in the 2012 process, we're already seeing many of these gimmicks be employed. We are appropriating money in violation of the Budget Act before we have a budget. We should have a budget first. This bill would deal with that. It will create more honesty, more fairness, more ability for the American people to understand how much Congress is spending, and it would be good for America.
We came here to cut spending. We came here to limit federal power, and we came here to restore integrity to the federal government. We have seen firsthand the tricks of the trade and the gimmicks used to distort the truth and hide new spending. We learned that through precedent or bad habit, these gimmicks have become institutionalized by both houses of Congress.
If we could just make sure that we have a real budget, which this bill will do, that we work from a budget, that we stick to a budget, and that we have emergency funding only when it's a real emergency, that in itself will help the transparency and the honesty and integrity that is going to be required if we are going to cut the deficits.
It's time that we got rid of the gimmicks. It's time that we got more transparency in the budget, but it's very important that we have a budget.
We continue to appropriate and spend money, and yet will not do the tough work to actually pass a budget, where you have to go through the grueling exercise of making that happen.
There's been a lot of gimmickry and a lot of increased spending that's been hidden from the American people.
The United States government is the largest financial entity in the world, that I've been operating within this financial entity without a budget.
It is truly a shame that we have to come out here and force the hand of the Democrats by passing a law saying you guys truly do have to present a budget. Your constituents want to see how much money we're going to spend.
When Congress doesn't balance its budget, it needs to level with the American people. When it incurs a deficit of $1 to $1.5 trillion a year, it needs to tell the people what that deficit actually is and what the true liabilities are on the books, so that it can't make it look like we're balancing when we're not, and it can't make it look like we're borrowing less than we are.
It's time that the government be honest, open, and transparent with the American people how it spends their hard-working or hard-earned dollars when they entrust that to us here in the House of Representatives and in the Senate.
Our commitment with this act is to end the games as usual, to be truthful, to be honest, and to do something that Washington has not enjoyed for an awful long time, a newfound integrity with those we represent.
What we're talking about here is injecting common sense into the budget process.
If we were to buy a piece of farm equipment today and then decide we were going to pay for it next year, under Congress's rules, we'd be saving money this year. We get to buy another one without paying for it. If we did that in our personal lives, if we did that in our businesses, we'd be broke and we'd be in jail. But somehow Congress, that's business as usual. It is time that we end the charade and start being honest to the American people.
The Congressional Budget Office announced that the United States deficit will run $1.1 trillion for 2012. This is a direct result of budget gimmicks that have been allowed to continue, regardless of which party was in control.
We need responsibility in this Congress, and we haven't had it.